Most people think Warren Buffett became one of the richest people in history because he knew what to buy. I think that's only half the story. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, constantly busy, or like success keeps demanding more from you, Buffett may have discovered the one investment almost everyone else overlooks. His greatest investment wasn't stocks, it wasn't real estate, it wasn't business. It was attention. Because while everyone else was chasing more, Buffett spent decades protecting the one thing that can never be replaced: his time. That's why he says no to almost everything. Buffett understood something most of us don't. Every yes spends part of your life, and that may be the real secret behind one of the greatest success stories ever told. Most of us grow up believing success works like a ladder. You climb faster by saying yes. Yes to another opportunity, another project, another client, another promotion, another committee, another side hustle, another favor. Because every yes feels like progress. We're afraid that if we say no, the opportunity won't come back. Someone else will get ahead. We'll fall behind. So our calendars fill up. Our inboxes never stop growing. Our phones never stop buzzing. And somewhere along the way, being busy starts to feel like proof that we're doing something important. That's the myth, that more opportunities automatically create a better life. But Warren Buffett built one of the greatest fortunes in history by following a very different philosophy. He didn't try to chase everything. He became exceptionally good at deciding what deserved his attention and what didn't. That's a distinction that becomes more valuable the more successful you become. Because success doesn't just multiply your income. It multiplies your invitations, your meetings, your responsibilities, your decisions, your interruptions. Every achievement opens another door, and every open door asks for a piece of your life. Most people assume Warren Buffett became extraordinary because he made better investment decisions. But if you listen to Buffett long enough, you start to notice something. He isn't obsessed with finding more opportunities. He's obsessed with avoiding the wrong ones. That sounds like a small difference. It isn't, because every decision has a hidden cost. When you say yes to one thing, you're automatically saying no to something else. A quiet evening with your family, an uninterrupted afternoon of deep work, a walk, a book, your health, your sleep, your peace of mind. Those costs never appear on a balance sheet, but eventually they appear in your life. Buffett has often said that the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. At first, that sounds like productivity advice. It isn't. It's investment advice. Just not the kind most people think about. Because Buffett understood something that's easy to miss. Every commitment requires attention, and attention is finite. Money can grow, businesses can grow, investment portfolios can grow, but your attention never does. You only get so much of it each day. The question isn't whether you'll spend it, the question is where. That idea shows up everywhere in Buffett's life. People are often surprised to learn that one of the richest men in history spends an enormous amount of his day reading. Not rushing from meeting to meeting, not reacting to every headline, not constantly checking for the next opportunity. Reading, thinking, reflecting. To many people, that doesn't look productive. It looks slow, almost lazy. But Buffett understands something our culture often forgets. Thinking isn't the opposite of working. Sometimes thinking is the most valuable work you can do. The modern world rewards speed, right? Fast responses, fast emails, fast decisions, fast growth, fast everything, including hitting the thumbs up and making sure you leave a comment down below. Buffett has spent decades doing almost the opposite. He waits. He studies. Sometimes he waits for years. Buffett has often joked that investing isn't about swinging at every pitch. It's about waiting patiently for the right one. Not because he's afraid to act, but because he refuses to waste his attention on the wrong opportunity. He ignores distractions. He lets most opportunities pass without chasing them, because he knows that every distraction steals attention from what matters most. And once your attention becomes fragmented, your judgment usually follows. That's why protecting your attention isn't selfish. It's called stewardship. There's something else Buffett understood that most of us don't discover until we're exhausted. Success doesn't simplify your life. It complicates it. Most people imagine success as the finish line. Work hard now, and someday life will become easier. But that's rarely how it works. Success attracts opportunities. It attracts invitations, requests, partnerships, new ideas, new responsibilities, more people wanting your time, more decisions waiting to be made. In other words, success creates a new problem, not a lack of opportunity, but an abundance of it. That's why so many high achievers feel overwhelmed. It's not because they aren't disciplined. It's because they never learned that every opportunity comes with an opportunity cost. Every new commitment quietly asks the same question. What are you willing to give up for me? Sometimes it's another meeting. Sometimes it's your evening. Sometimes it's the workout you promised yourself you'd do today. Sometimes it's reading your child one more bedtime story. Sometimes it's a little more of your peace. The tragedy is you rarely notice what you've given up until it's already gone. Months later, you realize you've been too busy to exercise, too distracted to read, too exhausted to enjoy dinner with your family, too overwhelmed to think clearly. Burnout rarely arrives all at once. It compounds, one unnecessary yes at a time. When most people hear the word portfolio, they think about investments, stocks, bonds, real estates, assets that grow over time. But whether you realize it or not, you're already managing another portfolio, your calendar. Every meeting, every project, every obligation, every notification, every promise you've made, they're all investments, not of money, of your life. Investors have a concept called opportunity cost, where every dollar invested in one place can't be invested somewhere else. Life works exactly the same way. Every time you say yes to one commitment, you're saying no to something else. Maybe again, it's time with your family. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a quiet evening just to recharge. Maybe it's simply the chance to sit and think. The difference is money can be earned back. Time can't. That's why Buffett's philosophy reaches far beyond investing. He wasn't just protecting his wealth. He was protecting the resource that made everything else possible, his attention. And that's a lesson all of us need, because the modern world doesn't compete for your money first. It competes for your attention. Every app, every email, every headline, every notification, every request, every opportunity. Someone is always asking you to invest a little more of yourself. And most of us don't think twice about saying yes. It's remarkable how carefully we protect our bank accounts while giving away our attention for free. The question is, who's deciding where your attention goes? You or everyone else? Maybe that's why Warren Buffett's greatest lesson has so little to do with money. Money is important. Financial wellness does matter. But even Buffett's life reminds us that it isn't the whole picture. Because what good is financial freedom if you've traded away your health to get there? What good is a successful business if you never have time to enjoy the people you built it for? What good is another opportunity if every opportunity leaves you feeling more exhausted than the last one? We spend so much of our lives trying to build a living that we forget to build a life, that we sometimes forget what wealth was supposed to buy us in the first place. Time, freedom, peace of mind, the ability to choose how we spend our days. In other words, a life that feels worth living. That's why burnout isn't always about working too hard. Sometimes it's about investing your life in too many places. We chase more when what we really need is better opportunities, better boundaries, better decisions about what deserves our attention. Because success isn't measured only by what you accumulate. It's also measured by what you're able to protect. Warren Buffett spent a lifetime learning how to allocate capital. Millions of people have studied his investment strategies, his patience, his discipline, his ability to recognize value. But his greatest investment may have been one that never appeared on a balance sheet, his attention. Because every investment begins with a decision, and so does every life. Every time you say yes, you're investing a piece of yourself, your time, your energy, your focus, your future. The question isn't whether you're investing your life. You already are. The question is whether you're investing it intentionally. Your calendar is your investment portfolio. Every appointment, every commitment, every interruption, every yes, they all shape the life you're building. Most of us spend more time protecting our money than protecting the attention that earns it. And maybe that's the investment Warren Buffett understood better than the rest of us. So before you ask whether something is worth your money, ask a better question. Is it worth your life? Because money can compound. Success can compound. Even opportunity can compound. And so can stress. So can distraction. So can burnout. And maybe that's the lesson Warren Buffett understood all along. Every yes spends part of your life. One day, you should stop adding up your income and start adding up your days. Because the greatest investment you'll ever make isn't in the stock market. It's deciding what deserves your attention. Spend it intentionally. If this story made you rethink what success really means, I think you'll find that this next extraordinary life will leave you with another insight into building success that truly lasts. Because success was never meant to replace your life. It was meant to enrich it. I'll see you there.